Landover, MD, October 29. Running back Ezekiel Elliott. Photo by Patrick Smith, Getty Images. The Dallas Cowboys offense needs serious help. But ESPN's Bill Barnwell says that the only offensive weapon the Cowboys have is Ezekiel Elliott. As such, he ranks the Cowboys' offensive arsenal as the third worst in the league. To be fair, Barnwell does place a few parameters on his list to help him get to the core of what an offensive arsenal is. Much like the philosopher Edmund Husserl, Barnwell wants to bracket out certain information to reach the essential core of an offense. In particular, he wants to look at the core of skill players while bracketing out offensive line and quarterback play. The bracket is also designed to remove scheme and play calling from the equation. With the kernel of skill players left, he ranks them 1 to 32. Some writers have taken offense to Barnwell's ranking the Cowboys' arsenal at no. 30 in particular. Mike Fisher of 247sports.com takes Barnwell to task point by point in his recent article. His main argument is that such bracket cannot be executed. He believes the Cowboys' arsenal must take into account the offensive line and quarterback play. But Fisher's critique is only half correct. While it is right to critique the idea that one can bracket out things like offensive lines and quarterback play is unrealistic, that argument alone cannot refute Barnwell's claim. Barnwell makes a point that is difficult to hear. He argues the Cowboys' skill positions simply are not very good. It is a point that Cowboys fans have convinced themselves is not true. But in the end, Barnwell is correct. The Cowboys' skill position players are not good. Outside of Ezekiel Elliott, the Cowboys have sparse talent at tight end and wide receiver. Tavon Austin will come up as a rebuttal. But what has he really done? Or what can he really do? Nobody seems to have figured that out yet. The Cowboys are simply the next team in line to take their shot at the Tavon Austin lottery. The reality of the situation is that the Cowboys' offensive arsenal is number 30 in the league. But Barnwell's article does have a major flaw. Page 2. Use your arrows to browse Arlington, TX, September 10. Leo Collins. Photo by Ronald Martinez, Getty Images. But Barnwell's article has a major flaw. It is the same flaw that Mike Fisher partially points out. If Fisher were to take his point to the next level, he would have a serious case against Barnwell. A case can be made against Barnwell that scheme and play calling cannot be bracketed out. Teams actively construct their rosters around their offensive scheme and plays they will be calling. Different offenses require players with different skill sets. Different offenses require a different configuration of running backs versus tight ends versus wide receivers. The Cowboys' offense requires running backs and offensive linemen to operate. The Cowboys run a 1990s-style offense in 2018. As such, they have constructed a 1990s-style offense built around the running game. Hence they have loaded up on offensive linemen and running backs. They will rely on the running game to open up the passing game. This means that elite talent at the wide receiver and tight end positions may not be necessary to make the offense operate. Although Barnwell's article is a nice diversion during the typical slow period before training camp, such a thought experiment is so far-fetched that it fails to glean any useful information for the reader. Its flawed premise that one can filter out scheme and play calling renders its conclusions devoid of meaning. Except the Cowboys still have a very poor tight end and receiver room. They need to run an offense that will scheme these players open if the Cowboys hope to have a semblance of a passing offense next season. Use your arrows to browse